President-elect Donald Trump's pick to run the Environmental Protection Agency, Oklahoma's Attorney General Scott Pruitt, is already stirring major controversy. Democrats and environmental groups are blasting Pruitt as a climate change denier. Pruitt is also currently suing the agency he's now being nominated to lead. Just this week, Donald Trump met with climate activist and former Vice President Al Gore. Yesterday, he reportedly met with environmental activist and actor Leonardo DiCaprio at Trump Tower. Last month, Donald Trump appeared to soften his tone on climate change, telling the New York Times he was keeping an open mind, specifically on the Paris Climate Agreement. But Pruitt's nomination could spark a fight in the Senate. Democratic Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, a member of the Senate committee that's responsible for pushing Pruitt's nomination through the Senate, slammed the president-elect's pick, saying, quote, "I will vigorously oppose Scott Pruitt's nomination and urge President-elect Trump to stop nominating science-denying, oil-soaked, climate change-causing polluter allies to his cabinet." End quote. Senator Ed Markey is joining us now from the Capitol. Senator Markey, nice to see you with you. I think we got a taste of some of your biggest concerns on this issue right now. What specifically is your primary concern, though? I recognize the language here, but one of the bottom lines is, and I talk to folks within the industry right now, and they argue that America really sides with Scott Pruitt on a lot of issues. That 31 attorneys general basically are suing the EPA over the Clean Power Plan. So is America more in line with Scott Pruitt than it is with the argument you're making?
Not at all. The president-elect's nominee is going to basically be sworn into office, if he's given the opportunity, and then declare war on the clean water, the clean air, the climate laws, which we already have on the books. He is going to try to bring the EPA to its knees. He's going to try to turn the EPA into standing for every polluter's ally. That's who he is. That's what his entire career has been dedicated to. And that's why this is going to be at the very top of the high-profile confirmation hearings that are going to take place in January here in Washington.
So we want to put up part of the op-ed that was written by Scott Pruitt in the National Review, which I think if you read it in its entirety seems that he's more of a climate change skeptic perhaps than denier, but I take your point. Here's what he writes. He says, "That debate is far from settled. Scientists continue to disagree about the degree and extent of global warming and its connection to the actions of mankind. That debate," he says, "should be encouraged in classrooms, public forums, and the halls of Congress. It should not be silenced with threats of prosecution. Dissent," he writes, "is not a crime." The bottom line here, as even Kellyanne Conway, the former campaign manager to Donald Trump, told us just yesterday, we're used to the naysayers and critics. Do you think there are enough senators, Democrats and Republicans, to fight this pick during confirmation?
Look, the National Academy of Sciences of every single country in the world has concluded that the planet is dangerously warming and that it is human activity which is causing it, and that we have a moral responsibility to the most vulnerable people on this planet to do something about that. That's why this is going to be such a controversial confirmation process. He is just plain wrong on the science of this issue, and the more that the American people learn about his views, is the higher the profile of these issues are going to become, and I think as a result, endangering his confirmation. When you're talking about the water in the air that goes into the lungs and into the bodies of the children of the United States, and this man does not believe there is a danger, then this is going to be a confirmation hearing that has razor blade sharp edges. We will not allow this man to bring the EPA to its knees.
As the Sierra Club told me just last night, they said this is sort of like putting an arsonist in charge of fighting fires. I want to ask you about Donald Trump's businesses as I can very quickly. He promised to put a wall between his personal interests and his sort of public duties. The reporting is today that he would basically hand over the reins of the Trump Organization to his 2 adult sons, but that he would still keep a stake. Is that sufficient?
he has business holdings all across the world and here in the United States, where foreign governments can seek to curry favor with a president of the United States. He has to have a wall that is just as impenetrable as the wall he says he wants to build between the United States and Mexico. But here, he has to ensure that his own personal wall, his own ethical wall, is so high that no foreign government will be able to penetrate it and to leave an impression that it's impacting United States foreign policy. That's what the president has to figure out what he's going to announce. And if it doesn't, in fact, serve that goal, then I think he's going to have big problems, because the American people are going to expect our president to only be listening to the interests of the American people.
Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts joining us from the Hill today. Senator, nice to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.